Thank you for Patreon now for donating to the Patreon.
Hey guys, Vanity, I was back with Card 5 Vanguard, Ezel and Vanity weekly review, so come subscribe to this one. This time today we are covering a lot of Thursday reveals again. We got a lot more promos, and we got some nice cards from the rest of the festival collection, and we got the final Overtrigger remains, so let's just go ahead and get this all over with and get started, shall we? First up today, we have the very last card revealed on Tuesday that I didn't cover on Tuesday because when I was going through Discord in my haste, I didn't realize this was revealed because it was literally revealed after I had already started the upload and I just didn't feel like going back and fixing it, so I just agreed I would do it today. And that is 4-Bidal Surrogate. Grade 3, not Twin Drive, Regalia piece, normal order, Regalis piece. You may have one Regalis piece in your deck and use a total of 1 time that fight. Search your deck or drop zone for up to 2 total of 2 grade 3 or 4 units, cards with different card names, and reveal them. Call the grade 3 units to rearguard circle and put all grade 4 units into your hand. And if you search your deck, you shuffle your deck, you may also search for only 1 card. So I'm pretty solid because it can get you a rearguard, but it can also get you a grade 4 to hand. The weird thing is that it nullifies Personarized because it just sends them out to rearguard, but I guess if your deck like benefits from having same names, like for example in Premium you can just with like Kyaki Vogue and get a bunch of rearguards out with the same name and get a bunch of power out of it, or you know you can just use it to fetch triple drive units. All around, Forbidal Circuit is just a solid order, and I think it's pretty great for what it does. If only the grade 3s with the hand, but it gets grade 4s in the hand to get you rear guards and does it all for free, so might as well make this your Regalia piece, because Persona Ride Plus is useful, but this is also useful. Also, it does it for free. And then we have a Rising Emotion Halpha, grade 2 and 5k shield, 9k base. Powerful, continues rear guard during turn if your soul has no cards, it gets plus 10k power, so 19k base if you aren't powerful, which is nice. And then as the rest of the Lyrical Monster cards have been doing, has a skill that combines 2 different grade 3 units. Auto rear guard on this unit chosen by the ability of either your Vanguard Herminia or Hazoret in its card name. Counterboss 1 to draw a card. Okay, I don't know why Hazoret needs this, because Hazoret, like, I'm pretty sure Hazoret's gimmick is send your shit to bottom, draw a card, so I guess it's just 1 more draw. And then restanding from Vanguard ability, I guess, isn't that bad, but like there are better things in my mind that you could waste the CB on, so I don't know. Halpha is not amazing. It's not horrible, don't get me wrong, but I don't think she's amazing either. I think she's a solid Hermina card, and then Hazoret's a 50-50, so I guess 3 of in either deck works just as fine. And then we have Particle Lights Dragon, grade 3 turn persona, 13k base, our first Keter card, I think, from set 11. Auto rearguard when your Vanguard attacks. When this unit attacks a Vanguard, if you played a normal order this turn, counterboss 1, draw a card, and skips a 5k for battle. Okay, 18k swing, pretty decent. I don't remember any fucking Keter decks that run normal orders. Maybe I'm just crazy. Maybe you're supposed to run the Garlia pieces with these things, but all around, it's an okay-ish skill. It's not amazing, but it's not horrible either. It is a draw on a 5k, so I guess like a 2 of tech works. Then we have Go Street Koolei, grade 3 to Persona, 13k base. Auto when she's placed on rear guard by the ability of either your Vanguard of Lifa or Michu in its card name. Soul Blast 2 to counter charge 1. This goes 5k for the battle or for the turn. Okay, this is not needed in Michu. Michu doesn't have a CB problem, or at least not the way I play it. And as for Lifa, Lifa's the one that gives grade 3 boost, right? I think so, because I remember its name being Rifla, but I remember that was like when it was on reveals, so it's not bad, but if I remember correctly, both these decks like Soul, so I'm not gonna run this, but it's an interesting choice if you want to use it, so 2 of if you will. Then we have Knight of Forlornness, Aufstein, grade 1 boost, 5k shield, 8k base, auto rearguard on this unit boost a grade 3 or greater unit, and this is literally the clone from the Dragon Empire, and I want to say it was Brankit that had the other one where it's Soul Blast 1 gets plus 10k if you boosted, if your opponent's Vanguards are grade 3 or greater. It's not bad. Again, it's like an 18k booster. In my opinion, Stoic doesn't need this because the decks I would run this in personally are the Griffle Gila decks, and in that deck especially, Soul seems to be more of an issue in that deck than it is in the other ones, in my personal opinion, so I wouldn't run it in my version of it, but it's still a solid card nonetheless, so take it as you will. 2 of tech because it's an 18k booster. Then we have a bunch of fucking promos, as we all want to go strangle Bushy for all these promo reveals. First we have Steam performer Touge. I know that's not how you pronounce it, I don't care. Honestly, her hair looks fucking great. Like, I love the detail on the hair. It just looks so smooth, like it's actually real. Anyways, grade 2 and 5k shield, 10k base. Auto one's put into your soul by your card's ability. If your Vanguard has only Pale Moon as its clan, bind this card, search your deck or drop zone for up to 1 grade 3 card. Put it as soul. If you search your deck, you shuffle it. I love how this nets you a free grade 3, so technically this card can trigger cross rides on its own accord in Premium, which is great. Also, it just sets up the soul, so if they ever, reveal Luquier Reverse or Venus Luquier, this again could technically set up a cross ride and can give its continuous skill that happens if you had a Luquier in soul active almost immediately by sending itself to soul. All around pretty good. I think it's decent. It can deck thin, it can get soul for free. What's not to like about it? I think it's a simple 3 of in a deck, and sadly a card we're not going to run because it's a promo. Then we have Stormy, Brave Shooter. Gotta say, I love her art, love the skill, or his art, I can't really tell, but also hate the fact that this is a promo again. Great to have 5k shield, 10k base, continues rear guard for each card with Blue Storm or Mana in its order zone. Basically, your Maelstrom orders, I guess, plus 5k power, and then active during both players' turns. Okay, great, so this thing's automatically a 15k base with 1. The second you hit 2, it's a 20k base, and 3 or more, it's basically, you're not hitting it. And then auto backward rear guard circle, not backward center, though it can be working backward center. At the end of the battle in which your other rear guard in the same column as it attacked, if you have Vanguard of Maelstrom as card name, counter boss 1, choose one of your other rear guards and swap this unit's positions with that unit. So the thing I love about this is you don't have to swap something in the same column. You have to swing with something, specifically a rear guard, in the same column. So you can swap this thing in the back left with something in the front right, as long as the front left just swung. All around, Stormy Brave Shooter is a pretty solid card, can get multi-attack very easily, gets good numbers, I like this card already, and again, sadly, the fact it's a promo makes this worse, because that means I can't fucking run it until it comes out in English. For a Brave Shooter. It's a good card, just only when it comes out. Then we have Knight of Divine Odysseus. I had to take a double take to realize this wasn't a gold paladin because I honestly thought this was like the first coming of the Ezel cards. Great Genesis at 5k shield, 10k base. Auto when placed on rear guard circle. If your Vanguard has only Genesis for its clan, look at the top 3, choose up to 1 card from among them, put it to soul, and send the rest to the bottom deck in any order. Okay, cool. 1 free soul charge if you want to, or you can just send the top 3 to bottom. And then auto rear guard at the end of battle this unit attacked. If you have a Vanguard Minerva in its card name, soul boss 1 and retire this unit, choose up to 1 card from your hand or drop some, put it to your soul, and if you put a card from your hand, you draw a card. All around pretty great. It gets you soul swap, and then also can get you a free draw. And if there are cards that are on Soul Blast, wasn't that Chamomile, right? Chamomile's skill in D calls itself, so you are able to do more multi-attack with it, and not to mention the fact that again you can swap souls and just have on Soul Blast effects activate from CS. All around pretty solid card. It's not horrible, I think it's great, and again amazing card that if only it wasn't a promo. 4 of when it comes out eventually, because we all know it will. Then we have Reminiscing Flower Maiden Claudine. I don't know why I want to say Claudia. Great 3-turn persona, 13k base. Active Vanguard. Once per turn, retire 3 rear guards. Until end of turn, this unit gets continuous Vanguard. All your plant tokens plus 5k power and +1 drive. Okay, now combine this with the Roro order, even though I think the Roro order requires you to have a Rosy Vanguard. Let's pretend it doesn't, and you play that. That means all your plant tokens get at least +10. Or the back row ones get +10, the front row ones only get the +5. But all around, that's pretty solid, because that's just a free 3 rear guard kill, which granted any plant token based deck can kind of just spam out a bunch of them for no apparent reason, and then she gets triple drive on top of it, which is great, so decent numbers and triple drive. And then Act Vanguard, once per turn, bind 1 order card from your drop zone, call up to 2 plant tokens to rear guard. Great, I love how it's combining order play from Zorga with plant token play. And then Auto Vanguard, when this unit attacks by soul blasting 1, choose one of your plant tokens, stand it, and that unit gets +5k power till end of turn for every 2 different ordered names in total in your drop zone and bind zone. I love how this card is the unholy combination of pretty much everything in Stoicheia minus Magnolia. And the reason I say specifically Magnolia is because Magnolia can get 6 attacks casually. This deck can only get a max of 4, but let's think about this. This has Roroa's plant calling, or plant token calling and buffing up style. It has Granfia's standing style and giving it numbers, and then it can work with orders like Zorga. All around, Claudine is pretty much this the only unholy combination of all of them, and the only ones that don't have is Magnolia and Leonorn. So pretty solid. Gets rear guards, gets 5k, gets drive checks, and gets multi-attack. Honest to God, it kind of just does a bit of everything, and I wish this was a real fucking grade 3 that wasn't a goddamn promo, because I would actually love to play this. You know what's good? I might do it anyways to prove a point. 4 of, because why not? Then we have Misty Arc Habit. I honestly thought this was a set order the first time I saw it. Grade 1 normal order. Look at the top 7 of your deck and choose up to 1 unit card with a grade equal to or lower than your Vanguard. Call it to rear guard circle and shuffle your deck. This is a Stoicheia card. I thought this was Lyrical Monasterio. Never mind. And then continues deck when you would choose to search, or when you choose or search for a unit card from your deck, this card may be chosen instead. And then continues when it would be called to rear guard from your deck. Instead of putting it to drop zone, it goes to hand. So this card gets a free rear guard search. For the record, it can call itself, by the way, and then because it says it can be chosen as a unit, and then it would just go back to hand. So for free, you get a rear guard. It can be chosen for your searches of calling units, or just even adding to hand, because this is when you would choose or search your deck for a unit, not to where it would go, just in general. It would get to go to board and it would go to hand. Okay then, cool, fuck it. I guess Stoicheia just got a fucking broken ass order. Can't wait to see where this goes. 3 of Zorga, and let's see what Chaos Zorga unfolds, because oh my god, that's gonna be fun listening to later. Also, wait, this just fixed Zorga's problem. Oh, wait, no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't, because it says from rear guard, from deck to rear guard. I was about to say, if it was like for Mysterious Ring Spirits, you can just call this from his skill and then just bounce it back to him, but no, it has to be from deck to rear guard. Okay, that's fair. I was about to say that's stupid otherwise, but cool. And then we have our Overtrigger, Spiritual King of Water, Idosfaro, grade 0 boost, 50k shield, 5k power, standard Overtrigger bonus, and then its additional effect, which you can choose a card from your drop zone, add it to your hand, choose one for use, and plus one card for the turn. Okay, it's not bad because it basically, okay, it can fetch any card back from the drop zone, so it can fetch an order, it can fetch another trigger, it can fetch a PG, a Persona Ride, etc. And someone gets a crit, probably the thing you gave the 1 million to, which is great. My issue with this is, I don't know, I feel like Walnut just had more of an impression, because I don't know, maybe it's the fact that Walnut was red, and I just like the color red sometimes. It's not my favorite color, but it's one of my favorite colors. But the rear guard stand, or like basically the guaranteed rear guard attack, I don't know, I feel like Idosfaro is still good, but more of a support, while Walnut was more of an offense. But I do like how they're kind of polar opposites, like a little bit of more defense, but with a little bit of offense to it, and then Walnut had more offense with a little bit of defense implied if you don't already have a rear guard. So it's not bad, but I think I choose Walnut like most of the time over this thing. But it is good for consistency, and unlike Walnut, it does help compared to this thing, Evergreen Transphere. This card might honestly be the reason why this one gets played more than Walnut, and here's why. Grade 3 Regalia Epee splits order. For some reason, one of them couldn't be a set order. Soul Blast wanted to play it, choose one of use against 25 for the battle. Okay, that's almost the most power they've ever given from one of these, the highest being 30 from Lyrical Monasterio Blitz order. Choose one of your Vanguards, and it gets continuous Vanguard. All your opponent's units with 1 million power or greater get -1 critical until the turn. And this is why this would get played more than this one, why would get played more than Walnut, because Walnut only gives 1 million, this not only gives 1 million, but gets an extra critical too, therefore these two just cancel each other out. But also being able to get plus 25 just off a free Soul Blast was fucking great, and I love the fact that it's kind of like an anti-overskill, but I also hate the fact that it's an anti-overskill too, but whatever, that's just how it is, I guess. And Idosfaro over here, I guess, would get more play because this thing is a thing, because people that complain about the over are definitely going to run this, so take that as you will. It's a nice order, I guess. I love its art. Again, I wish it was a set order, because I would have loved for one to be a normal order, one to be a blitz, and one to be a set, but apparently there's not a good set orders unless they're fucking promos, like the goddamn Nirvana one. Then we have Finding Deux Trois, Lalpacana. I butchered the hell out of that name. Grade 2 and 5k shield, 10k base, auto rear guard when she attacks the Vanguard. This is going to bother me, so I'm just going to fix this now. If you Persona Road this turn, Karen Boss 1 to 2 of your rear guards, bounce into hand, this is plus 10k for the battle. Okay, this works with Kairi in so many ways, because if you're running grade 3 Kairi and you Persona Ride, not only do you get the plus 10 to this for the Persona Ride, but then when she attacks, she can open up rear guard circles, get more 10s, and then Kairi attacks, you use Kairi skills, she bounces herself, then you bounce your other things, you call back a column that has Eris in it, you swing with the Eris column, you counterblast, you call this back, and then you swing with this, and you counterblast, and you bounce the Eris column back, you get a fuck ton of numbers out of it. This thing just implied so much chaos for Kairi, a little bit of chaos for Leafla, and literally any deck that involves bouncing and calling during the battle phase. 4 of Kairi, and I'm starting to think that people might reduce. I think Kairi's now going to get that Redux bill where, like, you don't need to run the grade 4 if you don't want to, because this thing's going to be running around. Then we have a card I'm really happy to see. 1, because its art is fucking awesome, but 2, its skill. Grade 1 boost by Kishio AK base. Armed Winged Dragon. That's actually a cool name. Continuous rear guard. This is going to bother me again. If your Vanguard was placed by riding a unit with Mushid armor in its card name during your turn, so riding from a unit with Mushid armor in its turn, and you Persona Road this turn, it gets plus 10k power. What I love about this is Mushid Armor is that one grade 3 that literally states any card that rides on top of it is considered a Persona regardless of what its name is. I believe that's what it was. Or it might be the other way around, where Musashi Armor gets a free Persona on anything. Pretty much this. If you Persona Road, it gets plus 10. But it's great because it's an 18k base plus your plus 10 front row to plus your front row's 10k, and then auto when it's replaced on rear guard. If you have Vanguard with Musashi Armor in its card name or in your soul, counterblast when to draw a card. What I love about this is they gave a completely random grade 3, whose only effect was to be a Persona Right supporter, and that was it. An actual legit support card. I legitimately want to go play Musashi Armor now as a main grade 3. Too bad we don't have a fucking generic ride line outside of Sealed Blaze, and they're not really that great for generic ride line considering Babsagra plays, and I don't really want to make the deck based on Babsagra, but once they give us a legit... I wish that's what they would do next. They give us like a generic ride line just for any deck. I don't care what it is, I just want a generic ride line, because that's good. Draw if you're on a Musashi armor, plus an extra 10 if you Persona Road. It's a good support card for that stuff. I like where Bushy's going with this. I hope they keep this up. 4 of. I'm gonna build a Musashi armor deck now because of this. And speaking of keeping stuff up like this, here's another card that bumps up a random card that I actually just built a deck around. The Electro Monster, the thing that had a Twin Drive but 15k base, and it can only attack if you had a set order in Order Zone. Yeah, they made a support card for it in this one. Rock Shell Kaiju Sherkopile. Grade 1 boost by Kashodeke base continues rear guard during your turn. If you have a Vanguard whose original power is 15k or greater, it gets plus 10k power. Okay, pluses and premium. This thing's an 18k base because you're striding, and all strides have 15k, or most strides have all 15k bases. I'm referring to you, Laurel. But, not only that, but, being in with the Electro Monster, who's a 15k base already, this is an 18k base, and it does it for free. There's literally no requirement to it. I love how these two cards are just random support cards to random grade 3s. I love this, and I really want Bushy to not only continue this, but give them, legit ride lines. I don't care if they give us, the Graham Grace Favreneal treatment, where they just give us the, on place for grade 1, draw a card, drop one, and then for grade 2, they just Soul Blast one, and you can ride instead of discarding. But, I want them to give us legit ride lines now. I don't care if they're like that, because, honest to God, I am very glad they're giving us support cards, and I hope they keep this up. Both are 4s for me. Next up we have Iluganon, grade 1 boost by Kashodeke base, and look at this, this is literally the cuter version of the grade 3. Didn't I say before that it may have been Keter that got one? Well, guess what, I was wrong, and here it is. Auto rear guard when it boosts a grade 3 or greater unit, slow boss one gets plus 10k power down to battle if your opponent's Vanguard's a grade 3 or greater. All around, not a horrible card, it's an 18k booster. I think the Keter, again, I'm looking at this in the perspective where I'm only going to use it in Griffle Gila, because I don't see... Well, I can see kind of reasons for Bastion, but not enough. I can see little to no reason for Hexa, or at least my version of Hexa. I can see it in Theg, but not a lot. Though then again, we are getting Evolved Theg in a hot second, so fair enough. But, I can kind of see it in the Griffle Gila one because it adds more power, though. Then again, in the Griffle Gila build I have, it's more suited towards defense and offense, and its offense is pretty good as is. So, I don't know, it was a 50-50, but I do like it. It is cute, and I think it could be ran in any of the decks, so I'll give it a solid 2 of to 3 of tech, depending on what deck you're putting it in.
Now let's go over our last 3 reveals for the day. First up, we have Knight of Brave Advance Cadugan, grade 1 boost, 5k shield, 8k base. Gotta say, I love this art. His fucking axe looks great, the hair looks great, the outfit all around looks great. Continues rear guard if you played a normal order this turn, gets plus 5k power, and then auto is placed on rear guard, counterblast 1, search your deck or drop zone for up to 1, Uplifting Hymn, reveal it, put it to hand and shuffle your deck, and if you search the deck, shuffle it. So all around, pretty solid skill. It gets plus 5k from playing an order, which made me think of, because didn't we get a previous Skater card earlier this week where it was like you get plus 5k if you play an order? Well, I'm not gonna go back and searching for it. Oh yeah, it's this one. But when I first thought about this, I didn't think of any order, but then I thought about the the dual angel thing from last set, and I thought that's what they were talking about. But no, apparently they're making a new order called Uplifting Hymn, and it's gonna do a thing. And what does that thing do? Well, it does this. Uplifting Hymn, gotta say the art looks great. Create 2 normal order, play it by Soul Blasting 1. Choose 2 of your rear guards that both get plus 5k for the turn, and then at the end of the turn, discard a card from your hand and bounce this card from your drops onto your hand. All around pretty solid because it can auto bounce itself, so you can keep playing it. And if you don't want to use its skill to bounce itself, you can just use this skill to bounce it back later. All around, it is a very good order. I think it is solid, and I feel like Bushy is gonna try to push this as a new deck because we already have 2 support cards for this, and we're about to get a 3rd one in a hot second. So I don't know, I'm kind of curious to see where Bushy goes with this, but for now I'm willing to give this a 4 of, and just gonna go run this in every deck until I figure out what I can splash this in the most consistently. So 4 of Cadugan, 4 of Uplift in the same deck. Then we have 4 Front Knight Teithfallt, grade 2 instead 5k shield, 10k base. Auto is placed on rear guard other than by your new card's ability. So basically place it by fucking orders, or literally just place it normally, if I remember correctly. If you played a normal order this turn, Soul has 1, look at the top 5 cards of your deck, choose up to 1 card with grade less than or equal to your Vanguard from among them and reveal it, call it to rear guard circle, and if it's a unit card, put it to hand if it's in order. And shuffle the deck. Okay, so pretty much what it means is Soul Boss 1 top 5 check, call something that's greater less than equal to the Vanguard, and if it's a order, it goes to hand instead. Are pretty solid because, again, support card for this, I guess, and also ways to get rear guards on board. And then auto rear guard once he attacks a grade 3 or greater unit, or grade 3 or greater card, yeah. If you have 4 more units, this gets to take a power till the turn. You see, or battle. You see, it worries me is the fact this is grade 3 or greater card, so the first thought that immediately went to mind is Yugi's greatest mood called I Attack the Moon. I don't know why I feel like this is gonna happen. I just feel like this is gonna happen at some point where we can start attacking set orders. And in that case, I'm gonna go right against Orpheus just so I can make that joke. 4 of Teithfallt, very solid grade 2, gets rear guards, it gets a 20k swing. What's not to like about it? And then we have our new Thegrea cards. First up, we have Retrospective Dragon, grade 2 instead of 5k shield, 10k base. I'm just gonna fix this because it's gonna bother me. Auto is placed on rearguard circle. If you have a Vanguard Thegrea in its card name, so boss 1 and discard 1. Search your deck for up to 1 grade 3 or grade 2 set order. Reveal, put it to hand, shuffle your deck. So you can get the Persona Ride order, or you can get the order that can basically swap your Thegreas, which is great. And it's not a hard once per turn either. And then auto rearguard, at the end of battle, this unit attack to retire another rearguard. Choose one of your glitter units, and it gets plus 5k power till end of turn. All around pretty solid. It can kill its own rearguards to gain numbers, and just make your Vanguard all around a better swinger. Again, not a hard once per turn. Interesting. I think this card is good. It doesn't even have to benefit the Vanguard. It can just benefit someone with glitter, so Maple, stuff like that. It's just a good grade 2, and I think its art is good. I think its skill is good. So solid 3 over 4 of an Thegrea deck, because it also searches the orders. And then we have our last card for the day, but not our last reveal for the day, and that is Epee du Justice Thegrea. I refuse not to say it that way. Grade 3, 200% 13k base. On when she is placed by writing from a grade 3 Thegrea in its card name during your ride phase, until end of turn, this unit may be also regarded as having the same card name as the card unit she wrote upon. So my question is, does this trigger a Persona Ride? I'm pretty sure it does, but I'm not so sure. Also, I love the fact it's a melee clause, so you don't have to do it if you don't want to. And then the other skill, I don't know if this is tied into it or not. I'm guessing based off of what I'm seeing in the Japanese it is. Then search your deck for up to 1 card with Thegrea in its card name, put it to soul, shuffle your deck. Cool, it can do alternate soul things, so I guess like you go light or dark Thegrea first, and then, you know, now this thing rides, and then you still trigger your Persona Ride, and then you do your search to get the other one to soul so you can do the restand skills. All around solid. And then active Vanguard once per turn. Discard a card from your hand. Choose up to 1 grade 3 unit with Thegrea in its card name. It's a different card name from this unit in your soul. Write it as stand, and then if you wrote a card, bind this card and activate Persona Ride, you cannot write till the turn. Okay, so if this doesn't trigger Persona Ride, this does. So all around, pretty solid. For only the cost of a discard, you pretty much deck thin, Persona Ride, get a fuck ton of numbers. And again, I say, if this on its own triggers Persona Ride, which I don't think it does, but if it does, then you double Persona Ride because this one double Persona Rides. So, cool. Not stupid at all. Gets guaranteed restands, deck thins for you. What's not to love about this? I think this is great. Obviously, it's not a ride deck card, but it's a main deck card. It actually has an interesting use, and I can't wait to see if the rest of the evolutions are like this too. So I'm 4 of pretty solid skill. And then our last reveal, quote-unquote, for today is this. Booster Set 12, Abyssal Assault in the Moonlit Night. So there are 3 things this does for me. First up, I'm not going to squeal at this like I normally would. But no, because I am squealing on the inside, and the only reason I'm not is because it's literally 3 a.m. in the morning. But the fact that this thing has Moonlit in its name is bringing me so much joy, and same with this. And then we have Zasku here, who looks well animated. You know, his hair looks great, his hand looks great. I love his outfit like this. And then finally, the Chad. Look at this. Tell me y'all are not screaming at this. I'm gonna end it here. We've had a lot of good reveals this week. Next week only promises better reveals, so we'll see then. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't like, comment, subscribe, join us, follow Twitch. I'll see you all in the next one. Don't forget to up your Vanguards.